Isn't this an indictment of our entire American society? Well, you can do what you want to us, but we're not going to sit here and listen to you bad-mouth the United States of America. Gentlemen!
Hey, folks, just in case you're, curious, no, Russia did not help me, okay? Russia. I call it the Russian hoax.
Of course, that's a fugazi.
All right. Fugazi, fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a... Fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real.
The first time the two met, the topic was Russian meddling in the election and the most salacious, unverified intelligence.
As you headed into Trump Tower that day, were you nervous?
Yes. Well, I'm about to meet with a person who doesn't know me. He's just been elected president of the United States by all accounts, and from my watching him during the campaign, could be volatile. And I'm about to talk to him about allegations that he was involved with prostitutes.
Me so horny. Me so horny. You keep lying. Me love you long time. You Polly?
You're a real hooker, and I'm going to slap you in public.
Did you show copies of your memos to anyone outside of the Department of Justice?
Yes.
Did you see the memo about this?
I'll go ahead and make sure you get another copy of that memo.
Okay.
And to whom did you show copies?
The president tweeted on Friday, after I got fired,
You're fired.
that I better hope there's not tapes. I woke up in the middle of the night. Great corroboration for our conversation. There might be a tape. And my judgment was I needed to get that out into the public square. And so I asked a friend of mine to share the content of the memo with a reporter. Blue, you're my boy! Didn't do it myself for a variety of reasons, but I asked him to because I thought that might prompt the appointment of a special counsel.
Oh, now it's all starting to ooze out. It's very interesting, isn't it, Katie?
Yeah, very.
And so I asked a close friend of mine to do it.
And was that Mr. Wittes?
No, no.
Who was that?
A good friend of mine who's a professor at Columbia Law School.
The Department of Justice says former FBI Director James Comey violated policy when he leaked memos documenting meetings with President Trump. The Inspector General says Comey set a, quote, dangerous example for FBI employees.
I also like to live dangerously.
But the IG found no evidence that Comey released classified information.
What? Guilty or not guilty?
Oh, guilty, but with a real good excuse. You're going to love it. Really? I think everyone here will.
And prosecutors declined to bring charges. Comey testified in a 2017 Senate hearing that he had sent documents to a Columbia University law school professor and told him to share them with a reporter.
Well, I disagree with a number of legal analysts.
And I object. I object!
Who, first of all, said this isn't a leak because it's not classified, which is really quite unsound and unsupportable.
Like his tummy hook.
You can have a leak that's not classified. It happens all the time. A leak is an unauthorized disclosure of information, and that's what this is. More importantly, the FBI has always adopted, including under Director Comey, a very broad definition of what constitutes FBI information. This seems to me squarely within that definition.
I am very, very sneaky, sir.
He prepared this on an FBI computer. It was about an ongoing FBI investigation. He put it into the file. He told his staff about it out of his concern and its impact on the investigation. It really walks and talks like FBI information.
I can't talk about it anymore. It's giving me a headache.
Here, take 2 of these.
Ah, new print. Little, yellow, different.
President in rapid fire on Twitter, questioning Comey's handling of classified information and the Hillary Clinton probe, insisting he never demanded loyalty.
Are you ready to get down to business and do exactly what I tell you to do?
Believe me, I'm ready.
Then let's get to work.
All right. And calling Comey a, quote, slime ball.
An ugly little spud, isn't he?
He slimed me.
Slippery James Comey. Out of whack. He is not smart.
Don't worry, Skrull. Now there are plenty of tards out there living really kick-ass lives. My first wife was tarded. She's a pilot now.
Will go down as the worst FBI director by far.
That Rod Rosenstein didn't feel a need to appoint a special counsel shortly after the firing of James Comey last Tuesday.
You're fired.
After that, there were revelations that President Trump asked James Comey over dinner at the White House.
He's a showboat. He's a grandstander. The FBI has been in turmoil. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that. What I did is I was going to fire Comey. My decision. It was not.
You had made the decision before they came in the room.
I was going to fire Comey. There's no good time to do it, by the way.
Okay.
Because
in your letter you said I accepted their recommendation.
Yeah, well,
so you had already made the decision.
I was going to fire regardless of recommendation.
So there was.
You're fired.
Your termination letter to Mr. Comey, you write, I greatly appreciate you informing me on 3 separate occasions that I am not under investigation. Why did you put that in there?
Because he told me that. I mean, he told me that.
He told you weren't under investigation with regard to the Russia investigation?
I've heard that from others.
Best friend's sister's boyfriend's brother's girlfriend heard from this guy who knows this kid is going with the girl who's...
Was it in a phone call? Did you meet face-to-face?
I had a dinner with him. He wanted to have dinner because he wanted to stay on. We had a very nice dinner at the White House.
Enjoy your
extra big-ass fry.
Carl's Jr. Fuck you. I'm eating.
He asked for the dinner, and he wanted to stay on as the FBI head. And I said, I'll, consider. We'll see what happens. But we had a very nice dinner. And at that time, he told me, you are not under investigation, which I knew anyway.
That was one meeting? What was it?
First of all, when you're...
So that didn't come directly
from
him.
During a phone call, he said it. And
every guy's got his dream, am I right? Between you, me, and the wall, I had a doozy myself last night.
Then during another phone call, he said it. So he said it once at dinner, and then he said it twice during phone calls.
Did you call him?
In one case, I called him. In one case, he called me.
Yo.
What's up?
Did you ask, am I under investigation?
I actually asked him, yes. I said, if it's possible, would you let me know, am I under investigation? He said, you are not under investigation.
Say what? But he's given sworn testimony that there is an ongoing investigation into the Trump campaign and possible collusion with the Russian government. You were the centerpiece of the Trump campaign.
All
so
I
was
can
he
tell
being
you
truthful
is,
when he says
I
you
know
were
one
under
thing. I
investigation?
know that I'm not under investigation. Me, personally. I'm not talking about campaigns. I'm not talking about anything else. I'm not under investigation.
President Trump asked James Comey over dinner.
Want some fancy sauce?
Yeah.
I'm not done using it. Looks good. Can I have fancy sauce?
If he was under investigation, and then we found out this latest news about the memo, James Comey's memos, where he documented the president asking him to end the Flynn probe. That appears to be a tipping point. I
mean, why the administration hired him in the first place is still a big part of the mystery.
Surprise, motherfucker.
When Mike Flynn got brought on board as a top advisor to the Trump campaign, even before they won the election and he became national security advisor, just being brought on board the campaign in a formal role, that itself raised a ton of eyebrows, in part because Mike Flynn's behavior toward Russia was already really odd. First reported today by one of America's great investigative reporters, Michael Isikoff.
What do you ride? Thought maybe we could use you.
Oh, use me? I write,
Mother of God, I thought. Here it comes.
I like the big fuckers, big one. The really big fuckers, yeah.
Now works at Yahoo News. How Mike Isikoff got this documentation, though, how he got this stuff, is itself a great story. And it's about Flynn. I mean, if you step back from it for a second, the national security advisor getting fired 24 days into the new administration because he misrepresented his contacts with foreign governments, I mean, that alone, I mean, if that was the only worrying or negative thing that had happened in the entire Trump presidency thus far, that would be one of the biggest Washington scandals in decades.
I didn't do anything in the first place, which is what I was trying to explain.
You think the whole Russia shit is just like bullshit?
I mean, it's mostly bullshit right now.
The Russian thing is just a big nothing burger.
Now this news coming out of the Department of Justice that special counsel will now be taking over the probe. Rod Rosenstein says, considering the unique circumstances of this matter, I am determined that a special counsel is necessary. Our nation is grounded on the rule of law, and the public must be assured that government officials administer the law fairly.
The Chief J just went off. He said, man, whatever, the guy's guilty as shit.
Special Counsel Mueller will have the appropriate resources to conduct a thorough and complete investigation, and I am confident that he will follow the facts, apply the law, and reach a just result.
Okay. If President Trump thought firing James Comey might ratchet down the Russia investigation and rid him of some headaches, the move might have just boomeranged on him.
The president has lost control of the investigation. The way it's been set up now, Mueller is completely independent of Department of Justice control.
I got all three of you guys for the rest of your natural-born lives. You're mine. The next time I come in here, I'm cracking skulls.
When Comey led the Russia investigation as FBI director, experts say he didn't have many of the powers that new special counsel Robert Mueller is about to wield.
Authority to issue grand jury subpoenas, authority to bring charges and prosecute cases, and seek to put people in jail.
Nobody knows the trouble I see.
All of those are things that a Department of Justice prosecutor can do that an FBI investigative agent cannot do.
Next up, Indictment Avenue. Here we go.
Woo woo! It's that woo woo!
Gonna rock down to Indictment Avenue, and then we'll take you higher. Oh, Lord.
Lordy, I hope there are tapes.
Breaking news. ABC News' Brian Ross is reporting Michael Flynn promised full cooperation to the Mueller team.
Wow, that sounds like a really good deal. But I think I got a better one. How about I give you the finger, and you give me my phone call?
And is prepared to testify that as a candidate, Donald Trump directed him to make contact with the Russians. Yeah!
Of Russia, hates Russia, Putin, Russia.
The evidence is pretty clear that there was collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians.
There's clear evidence of an attempt to collude.
I think that is, that's clear collusion.
Never heard anyone on CNN say that there was evidence of collusion.
I think a mountain of evidence of collusion between the campaign and the Russians.
Russian, pro-Russian, Russian, Russia, Russian, the Russians, Russian, Moscow.
This administration is compromised.
That's one way to put it. I think they're getting closer to knowing that the truth's going to come out, that there was activities with the Trump campaign in Russia and releasing those hacks and guiding them to the states.
All you have right now is a circumstantial case.
Actually, no, Chuck. I can tell you that the case is more than that, and I can't go into the particulars, but there is more than circumstantial evidence now.
A conspiracy or collusion between high-ranking Trump campaign officials.
Pretty funny.
As for Mueller's central assignment, the letter says the special counsel did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with it conspired or coordinated with the Russians to interfere in the election.
We ain't found shit.
It's a witch hunt. That's all it is. There was no collusion with Russia.
Barr's letter says there's enough evidence to prove that.
That there's not enough
evidence to prove that.
I knew what you meant.
Obviously, some opinion columnists and point of view news outlets have invested in an anti-Trump narrative.
Russia, assault by Russia.
Putin despises the West in general and the United States in particular, the Soviet Empire. Russia. They're the adversary. They want to bring us down, the Soviet Union.
He believes if he says it enough times, people will believe it. And that has been, I think, the trend. He says it over and over and over again, and then people believe it.
Look at this sorry,
miserable squashed thing. Can anybody tell me what's wrong with this picture? Anybody? Anybody at all?
One big piece of news that we've just received here is that the special counsel, Robert Mueller, is not recommending any further indictments.
Robert Mueller has waited and said that was not tacit. There was no coordination or conspiracy.
So this vindicates the president.
The special counsel did not find that any U.S. person or Trump campaign official or associate conspired or knowingly coordinated with Russia in Russia's efforts to influence the 2016 U.S. presidential election.
It's beginning to crack up.
And on the question of whether the president obstructed justice, Mueller leaves it up to the Justice Department to decide if the president should be charged with the crime. And tonight, Barr says the answer is no.
No! God, please, no! No!
The yeas are 230. The nays are 197. Present is 1. Article 1 is adopted. The question.
Silence, you funny fool! I've had it with your whining and bumbling.
Continue my point, but there have been a handful of members. Congressman Al Green of Texas, who introduced, along with Congressman Brad Sherman.
Sherman! Hey!
What the fuck are you doing here? Articles of impeachment in the summer of 2017.
I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America for obstruction of justice.
That boy is good. Good and terrible.
This is subject to impeachment in the House. And I would assure people that if this impeachment takes place, I believe that the President will be found guilty if we get it to the Senate.
We can't come up with a verdict up in here.
Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, after her inauguration, saying she was going to impeach the MFer at a celebration.
We're going to go in there, we're going to impeach the motherfucker.
Your language is offensive. Fuck you!
Behind closed doors, as it were. And those few incidents, and the House of Representatives, Democrats have voted against impeaching President Trump 3 times before today. Those few incidents have been used to paint the entire Democratic Party.
And remember, this is your world. You get to make and break the rules here.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Who, for the most part, has followed the Speaker's lead as all of them being impeachment crazy. And
You're crazy, man.
Saw her trying to fend that off again this evening, twice.
She has been, throughout all of this, and John and I were talking about this before, she has been pitch perfect. Almost pitch perfect, I would say. And she understands the solemnity of the moment. And this is her flock, these Democrats. And some of them are young, and some of them are incredibly partisan. And she warned them, no applause. This is not a time for applause. Shush! And that look could kill.
I find it unbelievable that the outgoing administration is surveilling the incoming administration. That is incredibly wrong, at the minimum, unethical.
I feel your anger, yes. Yes, I got your blood pumping, yes? No? Now you said harness it.